Well, this is going to be a little bit of a different road trip. I'm making a trip for the company that I work for down to Wilmington, Delaware. Today here on Sunday, it's a little cloudy. Not the prettiest day in the world, but me and Chuck are ready to go on a road trip. Country roads take me home. I'm going to do just different snippets of the trip down to Delaware because it's like a 70-some mile trip and about an hour and 50-some minutes, almost 2 hours. So hope you guys enjoy it. Not the prettiest day, but we'll see what it's like. Have some fun with it. Say hi, Chuck. Beep, beep. Well, me and the GPS lady had a little bit of a disagreement. She wanted to take me through Philly, and I was like, no, I don't want to go through Philly in the morning. Maybe on the way back when I go pick up at midnight, then maybe I'll go through Philly. But I wanted to go down through Gap and Route 30 to go south of Philly, so I don't have to worry about all the traffic, because I got to be there between 8 and 10, which right now my time would be probably about 8:35, 8:40, which is good with me. But anyways, she decided to take me through an area that the Philly, and then there's also tolls. I said, no, this is the route I want. And then she decided to go do what she wanted anyways. And then I said, no. And we argued for a little while. She said I was fat. I said, that may be true, but that doesn't mean that you got to be mean. So on and so forth. Eventually I won the argument with the phone and got the route that I wanted. So we are on our way. Right now we're heading up to Ebenezer, Pennsylvania. This is right down the road from where I live in Mountville, Lebanon County, Pennsylvania. And pretty little town, named not after Ebenezer Scrooge, but actually after Daniel Webster's father, whose name was Ebenezer. The Colemans, who founded, I guess, Ebenezer, they named it after him because they were very fond of Daniel Webster's father. They were also very fond of Daniel Webster. He was a congressman, I believe. Might have been a senator. I had to look that up then. But he was a pretty famous guy. And anyways, very big into education, which the Colemans were as well. And they decided to name that village here north of Lebanon, Ebenezer, in honor of Daniel Webster's father. Now we're heading up to what's called Pansy Hill. A lot of great memories here. Pansy Hill. We used to come home from church and we would always stop here. They used to have, on the far left of the building was where the owners lived, and then the rest of it was the supermarket. Well, it was a small market. Now my friend Bob owns that building, and his friend Tony runs a gym. So if you're looking for personal training, Tony is your man. Tony's Functional Fitness. Anyways, they have AJ's Pizza in there as well. It's a cool place. AJ does such an awesome job in there. But anyways, when we were kids, we stopped there all the time after church. My dad would always get his donuts, cream-filled donuts that he always loved, and some pretzels, like Snyder's of Hanover pretzels. And I would always get a 1-pack of baseball cards. The gum was awful even then. When it was supposed to be brand new, it was probably from the 50s. But anyways, I just always remember it was so cool stopping by there, and the owner was always so very, very nice gentleman. And good memories of Pansy Hill. And then coming up here on the right is Coleman's Park, which was originally called Mount Lebanon, and we're doing that whole series on the mansions of Mount Lebanon and the Colemans. I will pan over here to the right once we get there, and then we will stop for now and then start up when we are in the next part of our trip. But it has the pretty little gate over the top there. It says Coleman's Park. Alright, we'll see you guys in a little bit. And here we are on the next stage of our journey. Country roads take me home. You can hear the lady speaking. She was yelling at me earlier, and I almost started crying, so I had to compose myself. She yelled at me and told me, "Dum-dum, stay on the road." Okay, I'm sorry. Anyways, this is Cornwall, Pennsylvania. We've done a lot of visits here.
Next left to stay on Cornwall Road, then continue straight onto Boyd Street.
Okay, I'm just making sure I'm looking at the map coming up here. Right there, over there is the old one, the Cornwall. I think that's the Cornwall and Lebanon station. There is the elementary school. Very cool looking building. Down a little further is Cornwall United Methodist. This is Cornwall proper. Yes, I know. Thank you. Anyways, so this is gonna probably take us. So this is gonna wind up taking us down, I think, through Miners Village down to 322, is I believe what they're trying to do. And then we'll see if she yells at me again and tells me, "No, dum-dum, you're going the wrong way. Turn around." Anyways, so Cornwall, this was a town. This was actually founded by Peter Grubb. He's the one that found the iron deposits on these 3 different hills here back in the early 1700s. I believe it was the 1730s. And wound out naming it Cornwall for Cornwall, England. And started the Cornwall Iron Furnace. And eventually it got sold to the Coleman family, to Robert Coleman. And the rest is history. But a lot of pretty, very pretty villages around here that we've been talking about. We're actually going to get to go through Miners Village on this road trip, and then after that we'll wind out pausing for the next, and this is where we make our left, or right, the next one. It's not right in there. This is where the offices of, I think, when Bethlehem Steel took over, and they had some kind of function of an office type function, and that's Cornwall Iron Furnace down there.
Continue on Boyd Street for 2 miles.
They had the abattoir, which is where they would cook all the meat for the local miners and all that. It's actually a pretty cool function that they had a building like that for the workers. The Colemans looked after their workers. They were very unique for being somebody that was the big business people of that day. They didn't abuse their workers. They actually treated them quite well. A lot of Pennsylvania historic markers right in this area. I think there's like 4 or 5. That was Cornwall Banks. That's talking more about the where they had the iron pits where they would get all that iron ore from. It was its biggest, and this is Peter Grubb's first forge right there. And this is Miners Village. This is just, it's almost like it would be something, I know a number of people had said, it's almost like you'd be going through a small European town, like an English town. It's very, very similar, because it's just all the houses are close up on the street. They're just very English in design. It's just such a neat, idyllic village. They're all stone up through here, and then they sort of go into being brick here on the right. And then there's a whole nother lane of houses down there as well. But it's just it's one of my favorite places to come through. I remember the first time I went through, because I had never been through here, weirdly, and I was just stunned by the beauty of these villages. It's just so neat. But yeah, so let's go on to our next part of the journey. Here we are on the 3rd part of the journey. We are now on 501 South. We just went through Brickerville, and we'll be going on 501 here. I thought we originally might go down through Lidditz, but we're not. We're actually going to turn left and go east. It's called Newport Road. And that'll wind out taking us over. Eventually we have to get on to 30, and that'll be most of the journey will be on Route 30. So maybe we'll do another section coming up then on Newport Road for a little bit, depending on how busy my lady keeps me here. And then maybe we'll be the next time we'll be on Route 30. I'm not sure. I haven't gone this way before. I've been on 501, but the Newport Road will be probably a new one for me. So I'm not sure exactly where 30 is after that. But that's probably where you'll see us next. But this is just such pretty country here, north of Lidditz and south of Brickerville. They call this the Furnace Hills, which I thought was cool. That'll be another why is it called that video, because I would assume it's called Furnace Hills because they had Elizabeth Furnace, which was just north of Brickerville on one of the hills, and then there probably would have been a couple mills and furnaces, which would have been probably a lot of them lime kilns, because you'll see a lot of those around. We've talked on other adventures, road trips, that we'll see these stone furnaces. A lot of those are lime kilns because that was essential. It was needed for the farmers because the lime being put on their fields, they were just starting to learn the importance of putting lime on their fields. The science of farming and agriculture to a degree was just being learned in that era. But so lime kilns were pretty much everywhere. You couldn't throw a stone further, than 5 miles, and there'd be another lime kiln or an iron furnace of some sort. Those were essential ingredients of society back then and how things functioned. But yeah, very cool bit of history of Furnace Hills. Never knew that until I saw it on GPS where she said the Furnace Hills Pike. I never knew it was called that, 501 here, but makes sense. So, alright, we'll see you in a bit. This is just a little something that I gotta show you here in central Pennsylvania, down in Lancaster County. Now, you got the Amish. This is Amish men. They don't like their pictures taken, so I'm not gonna keep it going here as I go past them. But you get a little bit of the feel of Pennsylvania. You get to go upon the Amish people that are on their way to church. They usually go to each other's homes and they have their Sunday worship there. But you got to see an Amish buggy now. Yeah. Oh, Amos and Abigail. Aye. Anyways, the little Scottish mixed in there too. Aye. Ho, ho, ho. Okay, we're on Newport Road. Let's keep on going. I just thought it'd be cool for you guys to see. That's cool. They made that barn into some kind of bakery and something else. That's sort of cool. There's a really cool historic house back there too when I first turned on the Newport Road. And there's an old cemetery. I think I'm going to look on Find a Grave what that is. And maybe we'll stop by there on the way back, because I'm basically planning on going down here, delivering this stuff around 8:30, and then going down to Newcastle to check out that village, and then maybe see if there's a couple other things that, intrigue me. And then I will probably be heading back to get some rest, because I am tired, and I don't think I can last for 21 hours. So I'd rather come back than go back at 10, get there at midnight, and then come back. I live a boring life. As much as I'd like to have some excitement in my life, I don't have the energy. It just is what it is. All right, see you in a bit. We now just turned left on a 23 East. I'm not quite sure what town we're in here yet. There's some more Amish buggies. You get to see nay. That was Jebediah, maybe. I don't know. I shouldn't make fun of the Amish. They'll hunt me down. They'll watch my video and be like, "Oh, I don't like that." Not sure if my weirdness today is a combination of being tired and stressed. I'm not really sure. I'm a little nuttier than normal, but anyways, Saw a couple of really neat houses back there on Newport Road. Yeah, I guess it was 772. We went through Rossville. They have a historic, the Iron Town signs. That's a pretty church. Like the brownstone churches, probably is an old Methodist or something like that. I didn't quite catch the sign, being the region that we're in. Very well could have been a Lutheran or a UCC Reformed church, but saw a couple other really neat cemeteries. One that was very old, Revolutionary War old, I would think. I just had to look with the stones and stuff like that, but anyways, we're continuing on. We're probably a little over an hour, I think. An hour and so many minutes. We were behind a guy that was going like 10 miles under his speed limit. Like, you'd think at some point the person would get the clue. But another buggy coming up, they more and more cars started piling up, so I pulled off because I was like, I don't want to be in the middle of a lineup of cars, just because I don't like to film like that. People get more upset, but they're sort of up on you like that, and it's like, seriously, dude, you can see the person in front of me. Like, I can't do anything. But people get upset. Oh, there's a pretty stone house at 1861. Yeah, it's the further east you get, the cooler the houses get. You get to see more interesting architecture, and closer you start getting towards like Philly and that region, it should make for some interesting continued country roads. Take me home. I actually felt a little sorry. I had a couple Amish buggies here in a row that I got behind. I was able to get around them all pretty quickly, but I had the last one that had little kids. I always love when they're sitting there in the back just looking out the back of the wagon. I wish I had filmed the one previously, going by it and talking Amish buggy now. And it was a shame because it was so adorable. I very much tried not to film kids in any perspective, just because I don't think that's the right thing to do. Lewis and I had talked about that. We always, when we edit our films, that there's something where the film seems to accidentally focus on, you know, one or two kids or something like that. And there's some moo-moos. I always sort of try to focus it away, but they were, God, little Amish kids are so adorable. And it's just the way they're looking out the gate, you know, the back of the thing is just cute as all get out. I had went by the one farm, and the one Amish guy waved to me, and I waved back. I'm like, hey, Jedediah! But anyway, it's just really pretty back through here. Peters Road is what I was on. I'm sure it's something different now, but I got to make a left coming up here. So we're now on Route 30. We actually had the original way it wanted to take me. The road was out. And so I decided to get on 30 business, and then it took me out to Route 30 for the next like 10 miles or so. I would say one thing, Route 30 is awful. Like, Pennsylvania roads are not the greatest, but this is wow. It's very boing boing. A lot of boom boom booms and boing boing boings and other things. So you gotta make sure you don't have your tongue out. You'll wind up biting it off. Thorndale. It's a pretty drive through here, but no, this is actually better. We're back there for quite a bit. Whew. I will say one thing, you're not going to see any Amish buggies on this road, so. But I think I get off at Route 100, I believe is what it is. So it's probably another 8 miles or so that will be on Route 30 here, and then take me another country roads the whole way to Wilmington. So yeah, Alright, so we are now actually going past apparently Brandywine Battlefield's coming up here at some point. We are on the Wilmington Pike, so we're not actually that far away, I think, from the state line coming up here between Pennsylvania and Delaware, like right where Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland meet. We're not that terribly far off. I would like to film when we do come up to Delaware, but we'll see. It's definitely this area here is not fun to do the country roads take me home, so it's going to be short, just because it's not safe for me to hold the camera like this. So we'll see in a bit, hopefully when we're about to, because we're in Westchester right now. When we come up to Delaware, I'll pop the camera back on and film that as we cross over the state border. For the first time in this channel's history, we're going to be in another state. I'll be honest, I'm not really sure whether normally they have a state sign. We just pretty ornate township thing, Concord Township. So I'm not sure if we just crossed into Delaware or not. Just almost saw a big accident. Some guy was in this lane and went across 2 lanes and just decided to turn left across traffic. Almost got blasted by 2 vehicles. It was like, wow. Apparently they were in a hurry to get something done and didn't think about anything in that moment. But I was like, I will say, these country roads are not real fun to drive. There's a lot of nut jobs driving on the roads here. But turned the phone on because I thought, oh, well, we're coming into Delaware now, and I'm not sure if we did yet. So we'll see. Alright, so we are finally coming up to the Pennsylvania-Delaware border. I finally see it on the GPS. So we'll get the note the moment that the Hometown Historian channel has crossed into its first other state than Pennsylvania. Yep, welcome to Delaware. And here we got the sign that says, you are now in Delaware. Oh, there we go. Well, we're in Wilmington, folks. Finally can see all the big buildings and how cool that is. So we have survived. Alright, so that's pretty darn cool there. You get to see the old church there. That's pretty neat. Also just got approached by a couple homeless people as soon as I came right into Wilmington. But just look at that church. It's so cool because it's right here at, Wilmington in the town. So I'm going to be on and off on this simply because I got to make sure I'm going to the right place. But I just wanted to show you that church. So I didn't add any more. I had one because it was interesting going into town. The Hotel DuPont was not that hard to find. It's actually a stunning place. You'll see a couple pictures here of the ballroom that I was in. But it wound up being sort of a little bit of a nightmare with trying to actually find a place to park and deliver. So I ultimately decided, I was so beat, I just had enough at that stage, and I just went home. I got to go back yet tonight to go do the pickup. But anyways, it was a great trip. I will be going back to Wilmington. This is a stunning place. You see a couple of the churches that I took photographs of. I do want to go back to the, it's called Rodney Square, because there's a lot of history there. There will be 1 or 2 shorts that I'll wind up putting out, but there'll be quite a bit more when we go back to Wilmington, and then we'll visit Newcastle and some of those other things. But it wound up being like a 2.5, 3 hour debacle. Just, everybody was very nice, but it was just it was a mess. And I made like a little bit of a video on the way back where I was rather grumpy, and I was like, it was a great video, so I didn't want to make it have a downer at the end. But this was a fantastic adventure. I hope you guys really enjoyed this trip. It's broken up because it's an hour and almost almost 2 hour trip. The way I took down through Gap and Lancaster County instead of going north of Philadelphia, but it was a neat trip. A lot of fun. Uh, Very interesting. Couple close ones. Uh, some nutty people out there. But anyways, it was a fun trip. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the Amish and just seeing the beautiful countryside going down through into Wilmington, Delaware. We will film back in Wilmington again just so you guys can see the really is a cool city. A lot of homeless people. I scared one guy and he sort of scared me, but it was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself, and we will see you all about town.